I gotta say, guys, I think I waited a little bit too long to post this video. That's right, The Last of Us. An amazing game, a massive improvement over Uncharted 3. This game did some serious justice for Naughty Dog. And I vividly remember 4 months ago when this game first came out, walking in day one to buy it, and I had certain expectations on how I thought it was going to turn out. And when I was done playing it, it exceeded those expectations by a mile. It definitely deserves to be the best PS3 exclusive of 2013. I'm not so sure about it being voted the best game of 2013 overall, simply because of Grand Theft Auto 5, and I'm pretty sure on how Watch Dogs and Battlefield 4 is going to turn out when they come out this year. But it definitely is up there. And I gotta say, I'm so glad that I was 17 when this game came out. I'm so glad I was old enough to buy it, old enough to appreciate all of the features that it had, and I'm just so happy. And especially the part that it came out during the summer, whereas most games come out in late November, somewhere, during the holiday season, because they feel like, that'll be a good marketing date for everybody to buy their games. No, this game came out during the summertime, in June, where we had all the time to appreciate it. Naughty Dog did not take any lazy routes in making this game. It is obvious the hard work and dedication that they put into this game. And so this game deserves this video and every other person's opinion on it. The top 10 reasons why The Last of Us is amazing. One of the first things that I noticed in The Last of Us was the beautiful soundtrack that came with it. This is a vital part of every video game that has a story to it. If there isn't a suspenseful soundtrack to it, then there is absolutely no tension in playing the game. And Naughty Dog just absolutely nails it. Nails it in terms of its soundtrack. It has dark, happy, sad, angry emotions in every aspect of the soundtrack. And the best part of it all is that they know exactly when to position each of their tracks to make the game as best as possible. Another thing you'll notice in The Last of Us is the character's design and personality. I really like Joel's. Joel is your typical American, traditional blue-collared working man from the 1970s who has these amazing, physical features. He's got, the beard, the torn flannel, the torn jeans, the worn-out boots, the backpack. He's got everything. Ellie is your typical 14-year-old who turns out to be, this orphan trying to survive in the quarantine zone with the fireflies. And every other character has a purpose. Unlike The Last of Us, most video games, they just don't care. They spawn random characters, they give them a random name, a random story, a random, physical appearance, and that really just shows that they don't care. The Last of Us, there's absolutely no laziness. They meaningfully scripted these characters to fit the story. Another thing that I really liked in The Last of Us was the resourcefulness. How you can use bottles and bricks as projectiles to create distractions or to even just stun an enemy. How you can duct tape, pairs of scissors, poles, bats, or planks of wood. How you can use the smallest structures as easy cover. This just is an amazing feature, and it's unlike anything that I've ever played in a video game before. Number 4 goes to the emotional and the suspenseful storyline provided in The Last of Us. Reason number 2 kind of plays a little bit of a bigger role in this aspect, simply because if there weren't any, unique character backgrounds or stories, then there would be no story in The Last of Us. And I think this plays an important role. Provided with the original story provided, I think it's beautiful as it is, but it's even better when they've got, backgrounds from characters adding on to the story. You can see you can see where it's gonna happen next, and I think that plays an important role. It almost makes for a really good movie script, but I'll be bringing this up later. Contributing to the storylines are the exciting plot twists in the game. They kind of like to mix it up a little bit. It's not just a solid storyline where you kind of see where it's going along the way. It's not a cliche storyline. No, they like to throw a few curveballs, a few surprises in there, and that's what keeps your blood, going. That's what keeps the game exciting, and that's what keeps your incentive to continue playing the game more. We can't forget multiplayer now, can we? Honestly, I completely overlooked The Last of Us's multiplayer simply because the campaign was just amazing enough by its own. I honestly didn't even notice the multiplayer up until August. August, that was 2 whole freaking months of multiplayer, of badass multiplayer that I completely missed out on. And now it's time that I make up for lost time. The Last of Us provides an awesome multiplayer, not one that you'll see in many other video games, simply because a lot of other video games that have multiplayer carry over their multiplayer from the previous entries in the franchise. No, The Last of Us, it is amazing. If honestly, if I could compare it to any other video game's multiplayer, it would probably be Gears of War, except The Last of Us is better. Because what I also think is unique about The Last of Us' multiplayer is that it actually encourages people on teams to cooperate with each other. It actually encourages teamwork, and I think that's pretty cool. I usually enjoy a game with original dialogue. And with that said, this is what I'm talking about when I said at the beginning of this video that The Last of Us was a massive improvement over Uncharted 3, because the dialogue in Uncharted 3 sucked balls. Oh my god, just completely repetitive. It was unoriginal, and to be quite honest, if you actually look at the dialogue in Uncharted 3 and compare it to The Last of Us dialogue, you can see the complete difference. In The Last of Us, they actually have thoughtful conversation. They don't just say things just to say it because the story demands it. They say it because, it exceeds the expectations of what the people are going to think the next character is going to say to each other. They actually have meaningful things to say to each other. Number 8 goes to the climactic cutscenes in the game. Very exciting. They're nail biters. Definitely leaving you on the edge of your seat. And I'll be completely honest with you guys, when I was playing this game for the first time, I actually paused the game to go make popcorn. And then I came back because I felt like I was playing and actually watching a movie. They were that amazing. Coming in at second place on my list are the creative environments in the game. And I'm not just talking about, the cities, the buildings, or just the overall setting that you are in The Last of Us. No, I'm talking about the smallest of detail in the game, the most overlooked thing that I think most players completely miss in the game. Like the props in the rooms that you go through, the fact that you can walk through, every building in the neighbor when you enter that neighborhood, the smallest characteristics, like in the rooms, your living room, the college dorms when you make it to the universities. It's just amazing that they cared this much to add it in the game. It's not like Halo where all the rooms look the same. This is the premise. This is the absolute premise as to why this reason even earned a spot on this list. And the top reason as to why The Last of Us is amazing is the fact that it is actually a survival horror game. Sound familiar, guys? Are you listening, Capcom? That's right. Completely trumps Resident Evil 6 in every aspect. And the top reason why it trumps it is because of the fact that it could do what Resident Evil 6 could never even hope to become: a survival horror game. Not a mindless shooter, not a mindless third person shooter, an actual survival horror game. This is why I played the original Resident Evil games, because they were actually scary. I was actually, afraid to go into the next room. Do see what would happen next? I sincerely pray that Capcom plays this game and jots down some serious notes before preparing the next Resident Evil game. When I heard in February, I think it was this year, that Naughty Dog postponed The Last of Us an extra month, I was kind of ticked off a little bit, but the delay was completely worth it when now at this point in time that I've played the game and all, it was just completely worth the extra 5 weeks, of waiting. And if I could go back to that day, if I could go back to June 14th to buy it all over again and experience, the whole the story and just everything that completely mind blew me, I would completely do it in a heartbeat. And there's a lot of other reasons that I'm pretty sure that I missed that you guys will probably be posting in the comments. But you know what? Go ahead and do it. I want to know what else I missed out there. I want to know what other reasons are that contribute to this game. It just makes me proud that I have a PlayStation, that this game is an exclusive for PlayStation games. Really shows how much Xbox doesn't care, how much Microsoft, could care less about their customers. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I highly recommend this game to anybody, even to those people who don't own a PlayStation. Go out and buy one because it's just that amazing. Now, I'm not really expecting a sequel to this game. I can understand why a lot of people would want a sequel, and I can totally relate to them. It was just that good of a game, and they want another one. But I think we've seen what happens to franchises when they overdo, their part, when they just continually make sequels to games. They start losing their originality. You get less original material with every sequel, and you get more repetitive and redundant stuff in the game. That's not cool. But I will say this though. This game completely surprised me. Even just like, especially after what happened with Uncharted 3, this game completely showed what Naughty Dog is capable of doing. And so if they can honestly, and I don't care how much time they take, if they can seriously put together some serious solid work to into another sequel and they make it even better than the original Last of Us, then so be it. I really want to see what this company is capable of. And I think a lot of people out there do too. So, with that being said, I think this concludes the top 10 reasons as to why The Last of Us is just amazing. Amazing game. Even 4 months later, the game, it just doesn't lose its luster. So, yeah, with that said, I'm going to be leaving now. If you'll excuse me, I have some multiplayer to play because The Last of Us just released their new DLCs. I'll catch you guys later.